demise, now that your demise is coming, I want to bathe in your agony. I want to revel in your cries of despair. I will feed off of your hunger and your sadness. And I don't care what you call me for that. But I didn't vote for this.
I tell you, I took that cart and rammed that fucking woman so hard in the back of her heel.
People of all different types who are just going to be affected by that. Would not recommend physical assault. Hey everybody, this is Dean FM, Dean Fraser Melford, here for your creature comfort, and today, that was the wrong hand, here for your creature comfort, and today, I gotta slap myself the right way for y'all. Today I'm gonna be doing another reaction video. This one's gonna be some more hashtag FAFO on TikTok, and we're gonna be going through some of those, and I just want y'all to enjoy this. We're gonna be talking about this presidency, this administration, and it's sending a lot of people, but not everybody, unfortunately. We're not there yet, but it's sending a lot of people into the gutter, into the gully. We are feeling it, so in one way or the other, as a person of color, as a queer person, as somebody who is in the community, as somebody who is neurodivergent. I very much fear for not only my safety, but people who like me and their safety, and young people that are going to not have as much privilege as I did to be able to be themselves and stuff. And it's just going to get worse, apparently, so I don't want that for people. So anyways, let's get right into it. By Her Voice Matters, FAFO, hashtag Trump, hashtag Canada, hashtag Democrats. Please make sure to check it out myself. Links down below, and let's get right into it.
My brother was supposed to have some friends come to Pennsylvania, and they do a podcast together, and they just wanted to have a little mini reunion. They had this planned for over a year.
Just getting glass.
And his friend that lived in Canada called him today and canceled, even though the entire thing had been paid for and they had all these plans. He said to him he's too afraid to enter the United States, to cross the border.
Seems like a lot of people.
He said he just doesn't trust the United States government, and he thinks that there is even just a small chance that he could have been detained or, God forbid, sent somewhere, even outside of the United States or Canada. And it's just so terrifying. This man is an everyday, father, works in an industry that has nothing to do with politics, and they do a podcast about scary movies, and he was too afraid to come into the United States.
That's true.
It's so crazy.
Be safe. If you're not for the United States, I would definitely adhere to your country's guidelines, policies, whatever statement they have put out on the subject. For the most part, I don't think you should come here, especially if you're a person of color. Let's keep it a buck hunted. Anyways, let's keep it going. This one's called A Farmer Who Voted for Trump Entering the Find Out Stage of the Program Can Only Find Concepts of Thoughts and Tariffs.
We need some more steaks. I didn't really want to have to get on here and do this, but I had to. These are fiberglass steaks right here. Those big, bulky steaks on the back of the truck, wood steaks. I called 2 weeks ago to get a quote on these fiberglass steaks because we need some more steaks this year. I got a quote, 83 cents. I called the man this morning. I said, hey, I know these tariffs are crazy, everything going on. I said, what can you do me on those fiberglass steaks now if we needed a load? It's a 3-month ETA from the time you place the order. He said, Taylor, you don't want to hear this price that I'm about to give you. I said, well, give it to me anyway.
Ooh, this cranking.
Steaks now is going to be $1.74. I said, well, you know, and I know both that we can't do that, and that's going to be impossible. So that's just to let you know a little bit of what we're going through out here on our farm, and what farmers in general are going through.
Yeah.
These tariffs, not the best thing for our country.
At least you got your workers.
He voted for his own company to have to pay more tariffs. Even though this guy did not admit that he knew what tariffs were, the conversation that he recalls with the person that he's buying that steel from sounds to me like he knew what tariffs were and how they were going to affect his company. Now, this guy is from North Carolina, my home state.
It is weird.
Now, he has on his profile heading that he has legal immigrants. Okay. Trump does not care. So, you emphasizing that you have legal immigrants there, he doesn't care about that. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is a legal immigrant.
Yep.
He over there in El Salvador.
Andrew,
he doesn't care about your business?
Andrew, too.
And you are now paying almost $1 more, if not more than $1 more, for the same thing that you were paying for.
Yeah, that I don't give a crap about. Your pocket can suffer.
You voted for that outcome for your business.
Tragically and viciously.
If your business goes under, hold on.
Well, you better say it, girl.
I thought I found some cares somewhere. I can't find any cares. So I've got concepts of thoughts and tariffs for you.
Okay. The knowledge that people had before they voted for Trump was definitely overlooked. They were blindsided in some way. It's very hard to tell why did they not just care about the future? Were they just trying to ride the wave of the hype? You know what I mean? To feel good, to feel American, like, oh, program. Even though you knew that a lot of these words meant, tariffs meant, inflation meant, you know, the stocks, you knew about your farm. People on your farm, you straight up put in your profile, you got legal immigrants over here. But girl, let me tell you something. They're not any different than the people who have come in this country just try to live a better life for them. Their family most likely are just trying to work, and they work probably just as hard as the people you call legal, quote unquote.
You know, a week ago, I was one of those people that said to suffer in silence. Take it all back. I take it all back. Watching in real time people discover, oh, I'm not getting a bonus this Christmas because of tariffs, because the company has to order as much as they can.
Because I'm being fired.
You mean the Department of Education would directly affect my child's IEP plan? This was my favorite. This was my favorite. Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are not the same thing. Oh, you mean the Republicans called it Obamacare to trip dumb people like me? Watching it in real time, I take it all back. I want you to suffer as loudly as you can. Yes, I'm going to be right there suffering with you, but I didn't vote for this. I didn't want this to happen, but now that it is, and now that you were gleefully celebrating your own demise, now that your demise is coming, I want to bathe in your agony. I want to revel in your cries of despair. I will feed off of your hunger and your sadness. And I don't care what you call me for that, but I didn't vote for this. You did. So when you face the consequences of your own actions, I want to loudly hear you. You know, a week ago, I was one of those people that said to suffer in silence. Take it all back.
We getting dark. But yeah, that was by Ashton. That was part 10. I generally hope every last person gets absolutely everything they voted for, and I want them to be loud. That's what I said.
I am the queen of fuck around and find out.
Come on. Right?
Especially when it comes to kids and elderly people.
Please.
Now, I am one of the nicest people you will ever meet. But please don't take me there. And I'm going to say this before I start this story. I don't care if it is my child, your child, her child, their child. If they're in my sight, they're good. I also don't care if it is your grandmother, my grandmother, her grandmother, his grandmother, their grandmother, or mother. If they're in my sight, they're good. So I just came out of Home Depot, right? I went in there just to get one thing. Didn't grab a cart. Was just going to run in and run out, right? So on the aisle, there's a lady there. She has, I don't know, he looks to be about 4 or 5, a little boy with her, right? And on the same aisle, there is an elderly lady there on that aisle. She had to be in her 80s. Had to be.
Okay.
So we're all on this aisle. So the lady with the little boy, he is taking this shopping cart.
Right.
And he hits this lady, this elderly lady with this shopping cart, right? So the elderly lady, you know, is kind of looking at the mother. The mother didn't say anything. She said, oh, honey, your son is hitting me with that buggy. So the lady just kind of looks at the elderly lady and she laughs. And she was like, oh, kids will be kids.
Girl, but you knock the woman over.
I'm just standing there. The mother goes back to looking at whatever she's looking at on this aisle. So the little boy takes that cart, right? And he rams it into this elderly lady again. And the elderly lady yelped, like, you could tell it hurt. She yelped. Matter of fact, the lady almost fell. She had to grab onto the shelf in front of her, or she would have toppled over.
Stuff gets rammed into you.
That mother still didn't say a thing. When I tell you, I literally almost broke my fucking neck. Like, literally. Almost fell and broke my neck trying to get my ass up to the front of the fucking shopping cart, right? I got that fucking shopping cart, and I came back down that aisle.
What you doing?
And when I tell you, I was aiming for that fucking, you know, the back of the heel, you know, that sweet spot where it just, somebody hits it and your ass just cringe because it hurts so damn bad. If you know, you know. That's the spot I was going for. And when I tell you, I took that cart and rammed that fucking woman so hard in the back of her heel.
Oh.
And I got that spot. And I said, ooh, look at God. Won't he do it? Of course he will, because I'm doing his work here today.
You said...
That lady had the nerve. She said, ow. She was like, the fuck? You could say, excuse me.
But your son could say, excuse.
Oh,
I mean, you might be so ageist.
The same respect that you should have had with this lady behind you.
Yeah.
You want me to say excuse me to you, but you didn't offer an excuse me to this elderly lady behind you.
Advocacy.
She says,
sometimes it's not pretty.
I see what this is about. She was like, but you need to mind your business. I raise my child how I want to raise my child, and kids will be kids.
How's your
heel? You're absolutely right.
How's your busted heel?
You can raise your child however the fuck you would like to raise him. But he does not have the right to go around and hit elderly people with carts.
No.
Because someone like me will step the fuck in.
He probably just do that to everybody.
I hope someone would step in if it was my mother or my grandmother in a store and a child is just ramming them with the cart. And I find it very funny that you wanted someone to give you the courtesy and the respect.
Grocery stores
saying,
too. People just need to control them things.
But you didn't tell your child to stop. You did not tell your child to say, excuse me.
Yeah.
You didn't tell your child that that is not okay. No. You actually laughed. But now you want someone to give you the respect of saying, excuse me?
Yeah, no. It's not gonna... You
have lost your mind. And she was like, well, you need to mind your business. And I guess you feel like you've done your deed for the day. I was like, well, seeing that you're limping off, I do feel like I've done my deed for the day. So she threw up the finger at me. I don't give a fuck. Let me tell you something. You can call me a Karen. You can call me whatever you want. You tell me mind my business. But I am not going to stand around and let someone damn near knock this woman over in her 80s because you don't want to discipline your fucking child. You don't want to tell him to stop. Y'all have lost your damn mind.
Right.
But I will help you find a little bit of.
I believe in the kid as a parent at that point, right? It's like,
nice she should be. She actually told me her name is Barbara. Miss Barbara, I got you. She was so appreciative. She was like, you know, we need more people like you. And I said, it's not about that.
Hello, I'm Baba Wawa.
I'm not going to stand around and let anybody hurt someone defenseless and elderly because they don't want to just sit up and really do their job as a parent. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with y'all, but I'm going to tell you right now, that shit will not happen on my watch. Y'all have to get your shit together.
It don't sound
your
like
children do not have the right just because they're kids to just run around and fucking terrorize people.
No, they do not.
If you are that fucking stupid and that fucking lazy, you should not have had kids. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna stand around and watch it. Now, she's walking off limping. I felt good about that. Won't he do it? Yes, he will.
Say a little something about the limp it, about the pushing the car into the woman, but not to recommend physical aggression in any sense. I don't think violence or any sort of advocacy in that way is going to be useful. This wasn't really about Trump as much as it was just about rude people all in the same area. But since we're talking about this, I want to say that if you're in public and you're in a store, you got a kid, you got to control them. It's not fair. It's not fair to the workers. It's not fair to people of all different types who are just going to be affected by that. Would not recommend physical assault.
So this morning I ended up on Nebraska Talk, and it was a bunch of people crying, why does anybody care about Nebraska? When we voted for Kamala Harris, when I cast my vote for Harris, that was me saying, I care about you, and I want you to survive and thrive.
It's the Democrat way.
You knew better than anybody else that your state thrives and survives off of migrants' backs. Okay? And instead of them waiting for ICE to come, they decided to peace out before they could come and get them.
That's true.
I don't know what to tell you guys anymore. This is what you voted for. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, this is exactly what you voted for. And now you're feeling it. What do you want us to do? You want a government handout?
They wanted destruction, didn't they? They just wanted anarchy.
No.
They thought everything was going to be.
The reality is that you'll probably have to sell a lot of your farms for pennies on the dollar to large corporations and manufacturers. Yep. But don't worry, they'll probably let you work there for a minimum wage.
You're going to lose your money, you're going to lose your workers, you're going to lose your health care, you're going to lose a whole lot of things. Nobody's going to really feel that bad because that was your choice. That was your choice. That's the vote you cast. That's the ballot you cast. Anyways, that's all for right now. I hope you have a nice day. And that, my dear, was reacting to TikTok, FAFO hashtag. I hope you have a nice day. Stay positive. Stay advocating. Stay being yourself. Love one another. And to tie the story into politics where the woman was being rude with a child pushing into the old lady. I think that a good way I can implement the more of that story into politics and what's going on today is just make sure you advocate for people. You see people who are being attacked. You see people who are being marginalized, and even more so, I gotta stick up for each other and advocate for each other. And that energy is very much justified. And it's even in this political society, there's probably a lot of temptation for physical anger and physical retaliation. But we all gotta make sure that we understand that. We can't necessarily escalate too quick. I hope you have a nice day. Bye-bye.